All right. Hello, everyone. It is so good to see you and connect with you. It feels like forever since we've been together. I see familiar faces returning and lots of new faces. And it is always, always so good to have you. If you are new, I'd like to welcome you to the high speed healing community. Get ready to start thinking outside the box. We are not going to talk about the normal, regular, how to mask symptoms, get rid of symptoms, suppress, repress, deny, ignore, pretend they're not there, or take something that creates a long list of side effects. We're not going to do that here. In fact, if you're new, I'll probably be shaking you up a bit, which is a good thing. And I'll never forget years ago when I was starting to really unlearn and relearn a lot of information. And I said to a close friend of mine, oh my God, I think I'm being brainwashed. And they looked at me and said, your brain needs a good washing. Because I had a lot of ideas about my health and happiness and how life worked and what was going on planet Earth. And I found out, believe it or not, almost 99% of it was not even true. But I was living my life and making my decisions based on information that I had gotten somewhere along the line, some of it way back in childhood, some of it from experts in the health field, some of it, from the things I was reading, from education, from experts, from religious leaders, you name it. I was getting information from the outside and trusting that you knew more than I did about my health. Now, this is very interesting, and I'm not saying never trust an expert. But what I am saying, and it's the most important thing that you could hear me say, is that your answers, I don't care what area of your life, your health, your relationships, your money, your purpose in life, your answers are inside of you. And if you give up the practice of going inside to seek your inner GPS answers, and you give up that authority to outside sources, there are lots of people that would love to tell you what to do with your life that may not be correct, because we are not one size fits all. And this has everything to do with health, with pain, with symptoms, with disease. It has everything to do with it. We are not one size fits all. And there are many, many right answers, not just one. And everyone that comes to work with me is looking for the one right answer. And they're obsessed with it, and they're stressed over it, and they're tense over it. And they're Googling till their fingers hurt over it. And it's causing part of the problem. So some of the things I'm going to share with you tonight, whether you're here because you can't stop binge eating, you have back pain, you haven't slept in a decade, you have migraine headaches, you think you have ancestral trauma, you think you have entities, you've been told that you have a heart issue or a thyroid issue, or you have digestive trauma and you can't eat anything without feeling pain. Any symptom, any type of pain that brings you here, could even be finance and romance. These pains all have something in common. And I'm going to start sharing more about that tonight. And you may be going, what? When is she going to talk about an elimination diet, or the supplements, or the physical therapy, or the marriage counseling, or the investing? And you're not going to hear me talk about any of those things. Now, I'm not here to make them bad and wrong, so don't misunderstand. But I do have a very different understanding of health and the healing process. A lot of people don't like that word healing. I was the same when I first began this journey. Like, ugh, the word healing. I don't know what it is anymore. It doesn't bother me, but in the beginning it did. And people sometimes I don't know why they have that aversion reaction. So if you have that reaction, just stay open to the best of your ability, because it's natural to heal. When you cut your finger, would everyone please mute yourselves? There's someone unmuted. Let's see. Let's mute everybody. Please mute yourself if you just joined the call. We love you, but we don't want to hear you. All right. So when you cut your finger, you want it to heal, and you know it's going to heal, right? You expect it to heal. But why don't you expect that when other things in your body start to give you feedback? So if you cut your finger, it probably hurts. You wash it off and you expect it to heal. You're not every day needing to do anything to mend the skin, all the millions of things that are happening from your remarkable body to mend. But we have complicated healing to such a degree these days that everyone is frantically searching for the perfect right answer, because they've lost the connection to the natural way of healing. Natural. Did you know it's natural to heal? Write that down and think about it this week. It's natural to heal. How many of you really, really believe it's natural? All right, a couple of you. Good. Most people have lost touch with their connection to nature. In fact, I ask people this all the time and ask them, do you have a dog or a cat? And they go, yes. Do you think you're an animal? Oh, no, I'm not an animal. I'm a human being. Well, we are part of nature. We are animals. We have an amazing example of natural connection to nature in the entire animal kingdom and the entire nature kingdom, the plant kingdom, the flowers. They all show us every day, all day, their connection to nature. They know they're one with nature. They're not separate from it. We, the smart humans, are the ones that have disconnected and forgotten our deep, intrinsic, constant oneness with nature as nature. We are part of nature. Now, everything in nature follows a particular pattern, a blueprint. If you plant the seeds to grow tomatoes, you don't grow carrots, you grow tomatoes. There's a method that, even though it seems mysterious in some ways, there's just this gorgeous natural method to nature. And yet, how many of you 100% trust your inner gorgeous natural blueprint? How many of you really trust your deep inner self, the knowingness that that was coded into your DNA? See, the disconnect comes because we have our intellect. We've been given free will and we can think. And although that is a fantastic ability and it's remarkable, sometimes it can lead us astray. And I would say many times when it comes to health, because over the past 3+ decades, after my own health crashed and burned, what I discovered first for myself, and then all these people around the world that I've worked with, I had lost touch with my connection to nature. I had forgotten because I was so damn smart. And that know-it-all disease was getting me in a lot of trouble. And the whole, oh, I've got this. Oh, no, I don't need any help. Oh, I'll figure it out on my own. Thank you very much. This got me in a lot of trouble. And yet, that also is the answer, because we do have our answers. We can handle it, but you have to be first connected up to the right source before you're going to find the right information to follow. Because if you've disconnected and then you're listening for the answers, but you're disconnected from the source of nature, you may not get the right answer. Does that make sense? So who are you listening to? That's a big question and an important one to ask. And what I find is most people are listening to the thoughts in their head. Most thoughts in our heads were learned from a book or a person. And there's a deeper level of understanding that I want you all to grasp. And it has nothing to do with what you learned in a book. It's a deep gut, heart, felt connection to the truth for you. And the truth for you may be different from the truth for me or anybody else on this call. And the truth for you may change. It may not always be the truth forever and ever more. So you need something to rely on, right? Otherwise, if you're just free falling, and it can be a frightening place. And I understand that. So when it comes to health, if you are suffering from anything, it's because your amazing body is giving you feedback.
I don't understand why this is not working.
Margaret, could I ask you to please stay muted? Thank you. So if you're getting feedback, first of all, I want you to write this down and think of your body in a new way starting today. Your body is a feedback machine. Your body is a feedback machine. It's not your enemy. So many people who are suffering, and especially if you've been suffering for a long time and you've done a lot of searching and you've tried a lot of different treatments and you've taken a lot of pills or potions or lotions or supplements and you've done a lot of testing and you've tried a lot of things and nothing's worked, you may have stopped trusting your brilliant body and you may have lost touch with the proper information and you may not even like it. You may feel your body's your enemy and you may be fighting the very thing that would help you if you learned how to listen to it in a new way. Most people have been taught that if and when they get the feedback from the body, they immediately try to stop the symptom. Let's get rid of it, stop it. Deborah, make it go away. I don't want this. I don't like this. Make it stop. Any of you ever thought that, felt that, said that? I hear it every day, all day long. So before something should stop, go away, you want to learn what it's trying to teach you. Otherwise, you could spend decades, my friends, and probably a lot of you have, you could spend decades trying to get it to stop and then feel worse and even more frustrated and hopeless even because it doesn't stop. There's a message in your pain. And when I say pain, just fill in the blank with whatever symptom you have, even if it's not physical pain. You may have anxiety, depression. You may have been told you have ADD or panic attacks, or you're suffering from a lot of grief, or you had abuse or trauma. And lots of people get these labels nowadays, all kinds of labels, fancy labels, pretty labels, sounding important labels. But here's the thing. The labels, and the more you research and read about the labels, the more you believe in the label. This is a big problem. Why? Because everything, my friends, everything, and yes, everything is made of energetic information. It's energy. It's vibrational. It's information that you can't necessarily see, touch, or taste or smell, but it's important information. And when you get labels and you start researching them, You start to think about the label and what it means and what they tell you about it, and you start to believe in the information you're getting. But what if there was something that came first before anything showed up in the physical? And I'm talking about your bank account, your relationships, your career, your body. Before anything shows up in the physical, something else comes first. So if all you do is you have a symptom, you don't like it, you go get it checked, you say, make this stop, you get a label and then a plan to stop it. If you haven't looked at what came first, you could spend a long, expensive, painful time trying to figure out and fix the label. And you start to believe in the label. And then if it doesn't work, you start to do more research, right? Because you want to figure it out, because whatever you did before didn't work. So what else can I do? Who else can I see? What other test? And when you think thoughts and you repeat those thoughts and you form a belief about something, or you take on the belief that someone else gives you and you accept that as true, guess what happens? You put energy into the very thing you're trying to stop. You're feeding energy into what you're trying to get rid of. This doesn't work. And it causes people a lot of pain and suffering. So I'm not saying ignore. I'm not saying pretend or deny. If you've been given a label, okay. If that helps you, okay, great. But I suspect if you're here, you're still searching for something, or you wouldn't be here. So what I'd like to ask you to do just for today, and longer if you wish, is suspend your belief in what you've got, what you've been told that you've got. You suspend belief in your label. Because what you have is a pattern. But what if it's easier than you think? What if it doesn't take a long, hard, torturous road to change a pattern? What if there is a solution? What if it can heal? What if it can change, but you've been told something else? And every time you doctor Google it, you see, oh, this is incurable. There's nothing that can be done for this. You're going to have to learn to live with it. You're going to have to learn to manage it. You're going to have to learn to cope with it. Well, that would be frustrating. That would be disappointing. That would cause a little depression. So now you can have 2 labels. That would make me anxious. Now you have 3 labels. So I want you to suspend all of it, because there's 3 things going on, my friends. There's 3 things that come first before anything shows up in the physical reality, whether it's your body or your life. 3 things come first. Are you with me? With me? Okay. Number 1, there are thoughts. There are thoughts that you're having every day, all day, because you have been given an incredible mind. And the purpose of the mind is to think. And we know from science, the average person thinks 90,000 thoughts a day. Well, none of you are average, I can tell you right now. And if you've been suffering, you're doing extra overtime thinking. So you're thinking more than 90,000 thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts. And I would venture to guess that many of them, if not most of them, are centered around the problem you're trying to get rid of. So you're thinking a lot about the problem. Now, as I said a moment ago, this is like having a fireplace in your living room, and you want to put it out because you want to go to sleep and you don't want to worry that the fire is going to burn down the house. So you go over and you put 2 more logs on the fire. Why would you do that if you're trying to put the fire out? You wouldn't. But every time you think about the back pain, you think about your thyroid problem, you think about the whatever digestive issue you've been told, you think about the cookies in the fridge. See, the more you think about it, you're putting another log, another log, another log on the fire. Every time you Google it, or you stare at the x-ray, you're adding a log to the fire. So number one is our thinking mind. Love the thinking mind. It has a place and a purpose, but it can be getting in the way of your healing. Number two, your emotions. Now, this is a little bit more becoming talked about, but not much. Because most conventional thinking and even alternative thinking, sorry to say, considers emotions sort of like, send that to the psychiatrist and put it over there. Or let's not even talk about it because it's unprofessional. It's not really valued as important information that's preceding every underline capital letters, every symptom, every disease, every pattern, every pain, every problem in your life is connected to emotions. That's a bold statement, but I believe it and I see it with my entire being. And as time has gone on, I believe it, see it, and know it even more. So emotions are absolutely critical. They're probably the biggest missing piece in the health puzzle that exists. And the amount of time and training that any medical professional or alternative professional gets in emotional healing is about zero, unless they do something on the side because they're interested in it. It's not considered part of healing. The longer I live, the more I realize how insane that is. It should be the top of the list. There isn't a decision that you make all day long. And I heard it this morning or yesterday at a lecture. We make 36,000 decisions a day. The average person, that's not a business owner, that's just a regular person, makes 36,000 decisions a day. So every decision is driven by an emotion. Think about that. What you decide to eat, where you decide to go to school, who you decide to marry, everything you're doing is driven by a desire, an emotional desire. And then often you try to back it up with logic to feel good about it. So this is even how people who eat the entire bag of cookies, there's no reason under the sun. I did it for years. There was no one ever forced me. No one ever told me it was a really good idea. No one ever gave me any valuable health reason to eat the bag of cookies or the pint of ice cream or the second pint of ice cream, but I did it, and I did it a lot. And I did it. And then I would give myself a rationalization, which is a fancy word for, I would try to give myself a logical explanation to make myself feel better about eating an entire bag of cookies and feeling sick afterwards and feeling worse afterwards, and then trying to rationalize it, which never solves the root cause of the problem. And guess what the root cause of the problem was? Emotions that were unresolved, unreleased, that were bothering me so much, I wanted to medicate them away. And in those days, it was easier to eat a bag of cookies than to find someone to give me a Valium or some, anti-anxiety meds or whatever. So for a brief period of time, I would get a sugar high and I'd feel, and it worked until it didn't work anymore. And it made me sick along the way. And it made me feel terrible, not only about myself, because a part of us always knows that this is not a healthy solution. We always know. You know when you do something that's out of integrity, that's not healthy for you, you know. Now, you may be good at covering it up, but if you do it for a long time, you won't be able to cover it up after a while, and you'll just feel worse and worse and worse about it. Now you have two problems. You have the unresolved emotions and thoughts, and the behavior that you're doing to try to fix it. Then you get the triple whammy. I would like to save you all the grief and the pain of this. You can stop this at any time once you recognize and take responsibility for what's going on. You can stop the train and get off. You don't have to wait till the end of the line like I did. So we have to start looking at the damaging thoughts that we typically got from somebody else and then adopted them as our own, or never questioned them. So we just, like, a trained puppy, we just repeat them. And then we have to look at the damaging emotions. And then the third area is the energy field. And if you think emotions are not talked about, the energy field is talked about even less because people don't know about it. It's still unfamiliar to the majority of people on the entire planet. And it is quite ancient, but it's also new science. So if you love science, great, you're in the right place. It's leading edge science. But if you love spiritual and ancient and indigenous, you're in the right place, because this is thousands of years old. It's both, and they're finally coming together. And this is why it's so exciting to be alive right now. It's a fact that you guys are the trailblazers. You might be here because of some pain or suffering, but I hate to tell you, you're ahead of the curve. And you're here because you, on some level, were led here to hear what I have to say to you and share with you. And you're here because you need it and you resonate with it in some way. And it may still scare you, or you may be skeptical, or you may think, yeah, I'm crazy, or you're crazy, or we're all crazy, but that's okay. You showed up because some part of you knows the truth. And you took enough action to listen. So I commend you for that. It's going to take the rest of the planet a while to catch up, but they are starting to. And more science is coming out, and a lot of people trust science as their external guide. So let's just hope and pray they get to see it and that it doesn't get hidden from their view, because with the whole energy field work, there are no pills to solve anything. It's not about solving it with a pill. It's about changing the vibrational frequency of your energy field. What do I mean by that? Well, those of you who remember when we would go to the radio or the television, and we would see static on the TV or hear the station wasn't playing the music very well, and we would go to the tuner and we would tune that station to the proper frequency so we could hear the music on the channel. It's a frequency, a specific frequency that would dial in the music so we could hear it properly. And there were 1,000 different stations, but if you wanted to listen to, K25, you had to dial that station in or you wouldn't hear it clearly. You'd be on one little number over. You'd be on a different vibrational frequency, and you'd hear completely different music. Take that in, because your body's exactly the same. If you sometimes do one small tune-up, the entire energy field would go from heavy metal, crashing, burning, harsh, horrible, painful music to harmonious, amazing, relaxing, soothing, incredible music. Your energy field is basically has imprinted music. you're carrying around music. And you're either in tune or out of tune. You either sound great or something's wrong here. And you're getting that feedback that I mentioned earlier. You're getting feedback from your body, and you can sense it in different ways. Some people will feel it a lot. Some people just, something's troubling me. They think about it a lot. Some people have emotions that they know, I just don't feel like myself. I feel off. I feel stuck. I feel blocked. Some people just can tell, they're good at sensing in their body, like where something doesn't feel right. We have lots of clues, even your smell, your taste. These are clues. They give you clues to when you're on track or out of alignment with your music, your harmonious music. Now, the cool thing about all this is that it's not that hard to tune your energy field up. And the energy field is constantly talking to every cell in your body. So the fastest, safest, easiest way to harmonize, improve any area of health or your life, anything physical, is to first start in the energy field, the invisible energy field. Now this, we're not hearing. We're just not hearing this. The first place to look and to work should be your energy field, not the last place after you've spent 30 years doing every other protocol under the sun. And then you finally land on my doorstep and say, please help me. You're the last stop on the block. But it's okay if you're there. I'm just saying, if you or someone you love is suffering, look in the energy field first. It's amazing what's happened in the energy field. Now, let me explain further so those of you who like the information can understand this, and it might motivate you. The energy field's like a recording device, and it literally records everything that's ever happened to you in your life. It's recorded how you felt about it, what you thought about it, what you experienced, those traumas, those things, those experiences in life that you call traumatic. It recorded how you felt in the womb. It recorded the people's emotions that you were around when you were a child, the environment you were in. It recorded what you were feeling and thinking and being told, and what you were staring at every day when you were little, before you were born, and then when you were born, and before the age of 8 or 9. This is key, because you're like an empty computer, and you're all day long, just whatever is coming into your field, you're just downloading and downloading and downloading and downloading these files. And you have no ability to say, oop, I don't want that one. Oh, that one's going to hurt. I don't want that. That's going to make me sick. That's going to make me feel terrible. You just say yes to all of it. And it gets imprinted in your field. And the good news is all those disturbances that you didn't process properly, they're in your field. They can be found in your field. And I have become so sensitive. So for those of you who think you're too sensitive, let me tell you, you're never too sensitive. It's a gift. You just haven't learned how to use it properly. And I can help you with that. But I was told I was too sensitive since I came out of the womb. And let me tell you, I am so glad, because now I know what to do with that. I am so sensitive, I can scan an energy field for you at a distance. I don't care where you live in the world. I don't care whether you're on the Zoom with me, off the phone, on the phone, whether you're sleeping, whether you're awake, whether you know me, whether I know you, whether I know your name, whether you know anything about, I can scan your field and I can feel where the disturbances are. Now, some people think that's just out there. Think what you like. It has been enabled me to help a lot of people. And I like having it, because I would rather know there's something not right than to constantly be hit by these things and have it knock me out in some area of my health or life and never be able to find what's wrong because it doesn't show up on a medical test. And I spent a lot of years with this happening. I had pains, symptoms, problems, patterns, and everywhere I went said, We don't see anything. Looks normal. You just need a little vacation, Deborah. There's nothing wrong. Take this pill and relax. Well, I took those, and then I took more, and then I took more, and then I took more, and then I became dependent on those to get through the day, because without them, I felt like hell, and no one could explain why or show me what to do about it. So I'm very fortunate that I believe a divine source revealed to me the truth about it. And I was able to get back on the right track and develop a way to first work with my own music that was out of tune, and then figure out how to tune yours up along the way as well. That's how this whole thing started. That's how the high-speed healing came into being. That's how I discovered the biofield. This is an actual field that is classified by physicists, not by Deborah. The biofield is an actual thing they discovered finally, but it was new. It was only discovered by science anyway in the 1980s, or 80s, I think. And it was a new field they classified for the first time. Now, this is ancient wisdom, though. And Chinese medicine understood this better 5,000 years ago. But not that many people even go for Chinese medicine. So most people in the West rely on Western medicine. Western medicine, well, let's put it this way: the National Institute of Health, which is the government, the agency, the organization that most Western medical doctors do go to for their information, they did a study. They were the ones that coined the term, the name biofield. So they even acknowledge, yes, it exists. So we need to quit arguing about all this. Not that you're arguing, but there are people that argue about it. We need to stop, because it exists. And it's powerful, and a lot can happen in no time when you start working in this invisible energy field. Because think about if you had a guitar and it played great music one day and the next day it didn't. It was because it went out of tune. And somebody who knew how to tune the guitar tunes up the guitar. You don't need to buy a new guitar. You don't need to have surgery on the guitar. You don't need to cut off all the strings and put on new ones. You don't need to punch a hole in it and sew it up. You just need to tune up the existing strings, and voila, the thing plays music again right there the same day. Your body's a lot like that. That's the most exciting thing I ever found in my life. And that's why I have not stopped talking about this for over 30 years now. I just keep being blown away by what's possible and being mesmerized by the human body and the biofield and the consciousness that makes up the physical body. It's all made of energy, vibrational energy, frequency. And this is all changeable. And it's not difficult. It doesn't always happen instantly overnight where everything changes, but it is all changeable. Now, if you spend a lot of time and energy arguing that or condemning that, not even willing to even a little bit think it's possible, you may have experiences and then bring back your symptoms. I've seen people have complete and total healing, and then they just couldn't, in their mind, accept it. They wouldn't or couldn't accept it. Now, most people who show up on a call like this or work with me, you've obviously, not only do you accept it, you want it, which is good because it'll help you move quicker and not resist out of some conditioning that you got from childhood or somewhere along the way of your life. That's the things we learn can hinder us. And this is why most of my work, it's about helping people unlearn and relearn. Unlearn. There's so many things we believe to be true that are not true. But the body and your life will reflect your beliefs. So it's very important to examine your thoughts, especially the ones that you think every day, all day about your health. And you know what they are. You're in there with yourself. You're hearing your self-talk. I can't hear it, but you hear it. It needs to be corrected. You need the brainwashing. And the reason that this is all a puzzle is because the thoughts generate an emotional response. And emotions have frequencies that are stronger than thoughts. So now you have a thought that's like putting the key in the car, and then the emotions turn that ignition on, and you drive away. You drive away with that. So we have to learn how to, first of all, put the key in the right lock, not the wrong. We got to examine those thoughts. And we only want to turn on the emotions that are going to take you in the direction you want to go, not just drive into a brick wall again or put it in reverse when you want to go forward. Even worse, that's what most people do. They've got faulty beliefs, fear-based emotions, and they go into reverse and crash into a wall and then say, what am I doing wrong? And it's not your fault. Believe me, I know probably every one of you has probably done quite a few things to try to fix yourself. And if you could have fixed yourself, you would have by now. So never beat yourself up. What if it took everything you've been through to get you here today in order to finally be open to something that I'm sharing? So don't beat yourself up. All right. I'd like to know why you're here. I'd like everyone to, in the chat, type 1 or 2 or 3 reasons that brought you to this call today. Just type away at me. Everybody. I want to know, everybody, what brings you here? Depression, physical pain, and be specific. What hurts? What's not working? What hurts? What's not working? What don't you like? What are you trying to stop? Fibromyalgia, okay. Depression, chronic fatigue, unnecessary stress, tension, headaches, trying to feel worthy enough to find a job, car wreck, knee won't bend, foot hurts, brain fog, fatigue, abdominal pain, anxiety, physical healing for nerve, chronic pain everywhere, digestive, bones, left hip, my son, fear of the unknown, everything out of control, worry, endless worry, pain, fibromyalgia, purpose in life, loneliness, childhood trauma, PTSD, bones, bone pain, neck pain, hip pain, migraines, thinking, my daughter, yep, okay, neuropathy, okay, abrasion, partial hip replacement, back pain, insomnia, childhood trauma, digestion. Okay. Oh, Chris, the final comment here. I love this. Chris said, I've healed myself and I'm here because the time has come for the world to know what is being shared here. It's time for natural healing to go mainstream. Oh, yeah. Boy, does that speak to my heart. All right. So you can see there's a lot of commonalities. There's different types of pain, lots of digestion issues, bone stuff, anxiety, depression, a lot of fibromyalgia. I think I saw insomnia a few times. The emotions, the anxiety, the loneliness, the grief, the fears. See, these, my friends, these are very common nowadays. And the times we've been living through have been tough and are making the symptoms worse, because the messages a lot of people have been getting are fear-based messages. And when you're in fear, it's the lowest vibrational frequency there is. I want to say, if you hear nothing else I say today, if you did this one thing and you really put your mind to it, your life would change, your health would change. If you make getting out of fear and staying in a state of mind and spirit that where you felt safer, more loved, more loving, more peaceful, more inner peace, things would heal. We've got to get out of the fear zone, because the fear is a vibration that's like drinking poison and hoping to recover, and it doesn't work. Your fear tanks your immune system, your nervous system, your hormones go out of whack. Those of you who feel like you haven't slept in a long time, you're wired at night, you want to sleep all day long and you can't sleep at night. You've gained weight, but you exercise and you starve and you still can't get rid of the weight. You have hot flashes, you have these hormone issues, you have mystery pain, you feel tension. Like, this is our nervous system out of whack. And fear will cause all of these symptoms. Those of you with anything going on digestion-wise, guess what? Your gut is your emotional center. It's your emotional energy center. We have everything that we take in and experience in life has to be digested emotionally before you can digest it and feel comfortable in your body. This is why, you've ever heard the phrase or said the phrase, "Oh my God, that person is making me sick," or "I'm just sick over this." You get a vibe from somebody, you get a gut feeling, a gut reaction, because your gut is your emotional center. You are literally feeling all of your life through your gut, through your belly. And if you've heard people say, never eat a meal when you're angry, or don't go to sleep with your partner if you're angry, there's reasons for this that have to do with your health. You will not digest the healthiest food on the planet, the best food, cleanest, most organic, beautiful food. You won't digest it properly if you have emotional upset while you're eating. Have you ever noticed sometimes if you're eating and arguing at the same time, that you just don't feel well after you eat? Or maybe you're even listening to other people arguing, fighting, yelling, screaming. We need to have an inner state of calm in order to properly digest life. Now, look, let's get real. Nobody, including myself, is calm every moment of every day. It is not going to happen. But that's okay. You just have to know how to go back and not exaggerate the problem. Most people make a molehill into a mountain. We need to make the mountain into a molehill. And we need to know how to go back inside to bring ourselves back to the state of calm, instead of letting it control us or other people control us, control our emotions. So if you have digestive issues, many times if you have migraines, you tend to be an overthinker, is what I have found. Very bright people, the brightest of the bright, get migraines. It's a lovely compliment, but you don't like the symptom of it. I've worked on more doctors in my lifetime, and they got migraines going through medical school, and they never got rid of the migraines, even a decade later. And I've worked with a lot of these doctors, and there was so much stress and mental pressure during medical school that pressure literally externalized as the symptoms of migraines. And then their body got used to the level, now hear me out. They didn't get used to the migraine, they got used to the level of stress and pressure. And there's a cellular memory, and they unknowingly kept themselves in this state of, I got to get it right. I got to do well on the test. I've got to pass the test. I've got to prepare. I've got to study. I've got to stay up late. I've got to do an all-nighter. They got into a state of being that was what I would call a red alert state. and that their nervous system got used to it and it became their new normal. And then they had chronic migraines and were given pills. And then after a while, the pills don't work, or they give other symptoms that they don't want, or they're too loopy. Now they can't even show up and they get the brain fog. So are you following me? There's a reason for these conditions. People that tell me they have been, oh, I just cringe when I hear ADHD and fibromyalgia. I just cringe, please, because I've rarely worked with anyone with fibromyalgia who didn't experience becoming either almost or fully pain-free. And when you Google fibromyalgia, the first thing you see is there's no cure for fibromyalgia. And I just want to scream. This is one thing that really still pisses me off because it is so not true and it's so misunderstood. And what I have found, for those of you who've been given that label, please drop that label today and never pick it up again for any reason. And don't ever Google it again for any reason. You look, and I'm generalizing, understand, I am generalizing because not everyone is exactly the same or will have exactly the same issues or precursor, but there are patterns of thinking and emotion that create certain personality types, and certain personality types end up expressing certain symptoms of disease. And this is because you guys are a lot alike. You are. What's interesting, and let me give you the science for this. There was a PhD from UCLA, Dr. Valerie Hunt, who studied the biofield, the energy field, for 40 years. No one knows about her. Okay. She was the first person to photograph the field. She was brilliant. And you know what she discovered? And she had a research lab for decades, and she, in a controlled laboratory setting, with a piece of equipment that she invented that could photograph and measure the energy field, she showed every time that emotions are the #1 driver for disease, and that emotions emit frequencies, strong ones, and that certain people like to hang out in a certain range of frequencies, which means certain people prefer certain emotional states. And they like to hang out there and they won't go anywhere else if they can help it. And what she found is that certain diseases have to do with these ranges of emotional states because of the frequencies. And so then they start to exhibit a pattern and it gets labeled as fibromyalgia or whatever it is. And then you start to believe in your label, and that's why you don't heal. If you understood. So Dr. Hunt had a very strong result that she saw over the years that really blew me away, because I work with a lot of women who have breast cancer, and they are some of the most loving, kind, nice people I have ever met in my life. And you would think, why would people like this get breast cancer? They're just so nice. And over the years, I started to see the pattern. This was before I knew about Dr. Hunt's research. And I recognized there's a certain type of woman that gets breast cancer, and a certain type that will get a different type of cancer or a different disease or a different pain. But it's so crazy how they're very similar much of the time, these women that would come to me with breast cancer. And Dr. Hunt, once I literally, like 20 years later, I discovered her research. And she found in every case that women with breast cancer, these are her words, not mine, so don't shoot the messenger, because it's pretty shocking when you hear this. She said in every case, women with breast cancer would rather be nice than stand up for themselves and tell somebody off, or tell them to go to hell, or tell them, no, that's not for me, I don't want that, or go away, or no, I'm not going to do that. They're massive people pleasers. And she saw it in every single case. And they wouldn't access the stronger emotional range, which is a different frequency. They wouldn't access, or they lost touch with the ability to access their anger, their stronger emotions. Now, we all, in order to have health, Dr. Hunt defined health, ready for this? She defined health as the ability to experience the entire range of all emotions. And if you are resilient enough to experience the entire range of all emotions, you will be able to shift around, move around, and experience greater health. You won't get stuck in your anger or your fear or your too nice syndrome. You won't get stuck anywhere. Now, I work with a lot of people, and some of them tell me, I've heard this so many times. Oh no, I'll say, well, what do you do when you're angry? Oh, I don't get angry, Deborah. I don't get angry. I let go of that years ago. I forgive everyone, and I'm very spiritual, and I just don't go there. Okay. You mean to tell me when you see child abuse, you don't get angry? Maybe you don't, but it's not bad to feel anger. I'm not saying, see, people confuse anger with punching someone. Punching someone's a behavior. I'm not condoning that. But feeling a feeling feelings are not good or bad, right or wrong. They're just energy. And we need to feel all of them. They're not bad. It's appropriate sometimes to feel anger. And by the way, there are only 2 fears that we're born with, 2. So this will clue you in. If you have any other fears besides these 2, you learned them. You learned all the other fears except for, number 1, loud noises. Number 2, falling from heights. Every other fear, when I heard this, I was blown away because I had about 100 forms of fear running my entire life. And if you have a lot of fears going on and then you're thinking about the fears, so you're feeling fear, you're thinking about the fear, the thoughts generate more of the feeling, and then you're feeling more of it, then you're thinking about it more, and then you're thinking, how do I get rid of it? Get rid of what? Get rid of the fear, the fear, the fear, the fear. You become drowning in it. And then you wonder why you don't feel well, don't sleep, can't eat, can't digest. You understand? I know you are. I can see and feel you. You're getting it. So we have to change our thinking. We have to examine our emotions. We have to learn how to release our emotions. We have to give back the lovely things we got from our loving parents who were doing the best they could. They were giving us what they thought would help us when they screamed, "Don't, you're going to hurt yourself." And we got afraid, they were trying to help. But now we're afraid to drive in a car, or we're afraid we're going to fall, so we don't hike. Or we were told by the doctor, nope, nope. We're afraid to go move our body because what if I bring the pain back? I'm going to hurt myself. We're afraid to move, and the body's designed to move. Your emotions are designed to move. Your thoughts are designed to flow. Guess what? Movement is the source of life. It is the key to life. And what happens when you get sick or pain? We stop. What happens when you're afraid or anxious? We stop breathing, number 1. We stop moving. We stop taking risks. We stop moving in new directions. We're afraid we won't have the energy. I have chronic fatigue syndrome, they told me, so I need to stay home because what if I run out of energy? We stop the movement. Movement is the key to a flowing, healthy life. Now, that doesn't mean that if you have an injury or you have pain that you're ready to go run the Ironman marathon. No, but there are things you can do every day to create movement in your mind, your emotions, and your energy and your body. And I will go so far to say that even if you are in a body cast and you just got out of surgery yesterday, you can learn to retrain and start moving your body. Did you know, this is your homework. Did you know that your imagination, all right, who's unmuted on me? Come on, everybody, mute your phone. Hang on, let me mute you all. All right. Did you know that your imagination is more powerful than anything you've ever learned? Please write this down. My imagination is more powerful than anything I've ever learned. And I'll explain why I'm having you write that down. And I'm going to take you through a meditation exercise that I want you to practice. All right. What we picture in our mind's eye, what we imagine, what we can sense, what we think about, and what we feel are creative forces. They are as real as electricity. You're using these all the time, but you're using them unconsciously. I want you, starting today at 6:02 p.m. Pacific, Wednesday, April 26th, to wake up and do as I tell you to do. I want you to start using all of these tools that you have. I want you to use them consciously so that you can become a conscious creator instead of an unconscious creator of your health and your life. So what I'd like you to do now is take everything off your lap and sit back and close your eyes. And I'm going to teach you something you can begin to practice to help your health and start moving in the correct direction and stop putting logs on the fire you're trying to put out. So close your beautiful eyes and take the deepest breath you've taken all day so far. And then open your mouth and let out a big sigh. And let everything you think you know, breathe it out. Empty yourself of all that information, all that thinking. Breathe in again, one more time, deep, deep breath, and exaggerate your exhale and let all those lovely things you've learned, just breathe them out. Pretend for the next few minutes you're a little child. You don't know anything, but you're excited because we're going to play a game. And you love playing games. And this is a magic game that has magical powers. And you believe in magic. You believe in miracles. Because no one's taken that away from you yet. So I want you to begin to imagine and keep your gaze internal. Make sure you're focused on your inner self. Don't worry about me or anyone else on the call, just you. I want you to begin to imagine the most glorious, exciting, fulfilling, satisfying, happy, either your body, your job, your relationship, whatever it is you're looking for. If you came here to, and you can have all of it at once, if you're willing to imagine that big, go for it. I want you to imagine perfect health in your body, a great life, great career, or great home life, whatever it is you are longing for, being able to go out and eat a 5-course meal and enjoy it and be comfortable afterwards, going dancing, swimming, traveling, playing with your grandkids, starting a business, whatever it is you want. I want you to imagine it right now as so clearly that you can feel it. Now, you may be able to see it. Some people can actually see colors and shapes and rooms and people. If you can do that, go for it and turn the colors up, big and bold and bright. Some people can hear. So I want you to hear, what would you be saying? What would people be saying? What would you be hearing? What sounds would be around you? How would you look? How would you sound? What would you be wearing? How would your posture be? What would your face look like? What would you smell? What scent would be in the environment, in the room, the space, the building, the beach, wherever you are? Take yourself there in your imagination right now. Make it up. Go right ahead and make it up. And make it as great as you can possibly imagine. Make it that it just seems almost impossible that it could be this good. That's how much joy, happiness, satisfaction I want you to create in your mind's eye right now. And I want you to make it like it's already happened in your imagination, to the point where you feel it's already done and you feel it right now. It's not in the future, it's happening now. Take a moment or two in quiet now and see it, hear it, feel it, smell it, imagine it in whatever way you imagine. There's no right or wrong. You can even just sit there thinking about it, talking to yourself about it. That's okay. However you imagine things, do that now. We're going to take 2 minutes of complete silence. Here we go. How much joy are you willing to receive? How much happiness can you imagine? That's the only question. Can you open yourself to more? Can you let that feeling move through your entire body? Let it move like water through your entire body. You may feel like moving your body. Let that feeling of having this right now move through your body. If there was a time in your life when you had what it is you wish you had now, go back and remember how it felt and bring that feeling up right now and let it move and flow through your entire body. And let your body move if it needs or wants to move. Like you're moving it through every cell of your being. And letting go of anything that's tight or tense or where there's been a stuck point. Just breathe into it and move it out right now and allow yourself to be open, wide, wide, wider open than you've ever been before. And know how powerful you are right in this moment, using your creative ability to imagine. Now take a deep breath in and out. And come all the way back now, wide awake, alert, and open your beautiful eyes all the way back. Now, if you could feel something, give me a hands up, a love, a heart, a thumbs up, wave at me, something. If you could feel something happening, yes. Look at the hearts going up and the hands waving and the thumbs. If you could feel something inside of you responding to yourself, it was responding to your willingness to use your mind in a new way. I want you to practice this, especially those of you who didn't feel something. It's not that you're not capable. You just have got to practice and allow yourself and be willing to imagine. Some people get very stuck and attached to the way things are. Well, the way things are changeable, but you have to be willing and you have to rehearse it, because you got where you are now by rehearsing it in your mind and in your emotions and in your choices. And for those of you who do feel stuck and blocked, please reach out to me. I still work with people one-on-one. I still work with people in a group setting. There's something for everyone. So don't hold back. Let me type in the chat where you go. Just feel free to reach out to me and book an appointment and let me help you find what your blind spots are and what's holding you back. Go to internationalcpi.com. On the website, you'll see all the services at the top under Get Started. There's a Get Started button, and you'll see all the services there, or just email contact@internationalcpi.com, and my assistant will help you and I'll help you figure out what's best for you. If you don't know which appointment to book, send me an email. I read every email. My assistant and I read every email, and we answer every email. So you'll get a reply, and we'll help you figure out what is the best next step. But whatever you do, you're not stuck. You feel stuck, but you're not stuck. Oftentimes there's something you just can't figure out on your own. And so that is why it's helpful to have another set of eyes and ears and experience and intuition on you, whether it's me or not. Just find someone you trust. But if you've been trying to figure it out and you're not, get my eyes on you and get my hands on your energy field. That's the real superpower. And oftentimes there's one day, one appointment that will change the entire direction of the rest of your life. So if you're resonating, and I know a lot of you are, because we've only lost 3 people in almost 2 hours from this call, and I see this every month, there's something you're resonating with. And I want, from the bottom of my heart, I want to help you. I want to help each and every one of you. So I hope you find something of value here that you will now take home. And until the next call, which, by the way, mark your calendar right now. You don't want to miss May 24th. It's a Wednesday at 5 p.m. And you will, if you're already on the list, you're going to get the email about it. But something special happening on Wednesday, May 24th. That's the next no-cost masterclass. Please put that on your calendar. I just know you're not going to want to miss it. I'm going to do something special on that call and make a special announcement that I know you're going to want to know about. And I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. So come back. In the meantime, read my book, do the homework in the book. This will move your healing, your unconscious mind out of the way. It will get you on your healing journey, or it will move you forward on your healing journey. You can get the book, a free digital copy, on my website. Or if you go to Amazon, the title is Why Do I Still Hurt? Or just type in Deborah Wayne in the Kindle books and you'll find it. And stay close to this information, because we need to hear it quite a bit for it to really sprout, since you're not hearing it that often out in the world. It is potent here. I see nothing but miracles every darn day. And I want that for you. So thank you for being here. Practice what we just did, this meditation. If you do this, even if you only did it once a week, but I would recommend 3 to 5 times a week. If you did this, even 2 minutes every day, you would start to see changes in your life and in your health. You've got to practice. Repetition is the key. When you're working in the 3D earthly physical plane, you need repetition. And when you do the high-speed healing with me, we're going to go above and beyond and outside the 3rd dimension. And this is why there's the possibility of instantaneous healing, because it requires it's not about time and space. when you work at the level of the high-speed healing, it's a very different understanding. And it happens instantly, like a thought. Your thoughts are instant. It doesn't take time to think your thought, right? We have the ability to tap into a state of instantaneous healing. But you right now aren't able to think yourself into it, or you would have already done it. So for a while, I can act as the conduit for you and help you access a state of consciousness that you're not getting on your own. You're not getting to it on your own, but I can get you there and help you. And then you can learn how to stay there on your own. That's what I teach in my programs and in my practitioner training. That's for those of you who really want to master this and really experience the true joy of going beyond what we've been taught we're capable of as human beings. How do I put this in words? I call it becoming the divine human, because it's a level of consciousness that goes beyond what we've been told is possible for us. And we'll all eventually get there, but you're able to get there sooner than you think. And it's not that difficult. And it doesn't take a drug. So there's no harmful side effects. So with that, I hope that I stirred something within you, created curiosity enough to inspire you to take some action, to take your next step forward, whether it's with me or someone else. Just keep moving. Movement is the key to health. And I thank you, my friends. So much love to you. I hope to see you May 24th. Come back or reach out to me sooner. I'll help you before May 24th. That's still a long ways away. But thank you for being here. And now, if you'd like to unmute and say hello, goodbye, whatever, please feel free. And it's been such
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings to you all.
Thank you.
Thank
love
you.